Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a watercolor flower drawing painting for you, and I was inspired by a video I watched for myself from 5 years ago because someone asked a question about the materials I've used, and I had to rewatch that video to find out which exact material I've used. So, and then I got so inspired to do some flower sketches, and then I just decided to make a new video. And as reference, I'm picking one image I did in the past, and I just screen grabbed the YouTube thumbnail of my own video, and I'm drawing from that. I'm using a drawing ink from Rohrer Klingner, and it's a permanent ink. That means once it's dry, you can go over with wet material like watercolors, and the ink won't bleed. And I'm just working with my dip pen. I really enjoy doing that. It's been a while that I used it. I don't know why that happened. I think it's almost the same with those abstract watercolor paintings I used to do a lot in the past, and then for some reason I stopped doing them, forgot about them almost, and I got inspired when I did a video from my lovely members where I flipped through a drawer of paintings and I stumbled over these, and that brought me back. And since then I've been painting a lot of watercolor paintings, and yeah, I'm now maybe back into floral watercolor sketches with the pen and ink. I don't know, we will see. For my members, there will be a new video next Saturday. I'm working on that at the moment, and it will have the same theme. It's all about dip pen ink and loose watercoloring. I try to work very loose. I do not pre-draw my image. I don't like pre-drawing anything. I usually only do that when I have to create something very specific. For example, on a ceramic piece, I probably would pre-draw things before I paint them. But usually in my sketchbook, I never pre-draw anything. I just start with my material. I don't know. I think if things go wrong, that's not a problem at all, and you can always fix it. I stay quite loose with my lines. So yeah, if they are a bit wonky or if one line is not in the right position, I would just draw another line next to it. The sketchbook I'm using is from Farbiano. I don't know the name at the moment. I will try to find it and link it up in the video description, as well as the other materials I'm using today. I bought this as a drawing sketchbook, but I really like the paper from Mixed Media. It's really good paper. I think it's the Fabriano Academia paper. You can buy that as loose sheets of paper as well. And I really like that paper, but I don't like that sketchbook because it does not open flat. It does not lay down flat, just as the other sketchbooks I'm using normally for drawing, and that's the Royal Talents. There's one from Kangaroo, which is really great. It's almost the same as the Royal Talents, just a little bit bigger. And I also like the Canson Graduate sketchbooks, and these all open completely flat, and that's what annoys me about that sketchbook. But I thought I will use it for these watercolor drawings now, so it has a purpose. I don't like it for sketching, and it's also quite big and chunky, so it's hard to take it out. I will try to find that video again that I've used the thumbnail of to draw from. So I can link it up for you in the info cards and you can watch that as well. I haven't watched it, so I don't know which colors I've used, if the technique and the way of working is the same. I don't know. I'm now back with my watercolors. This ink needs some time to dry, so I usually let things dry half a day. I would either start in the mornings and make my drawing, and then I can come back in the evenings, or I let that dry overnight. I don't know if it will dry quicker. I just know if you work too quickly over it, it will bleed. So I've never tested how much time it really takes to dry completely. And now I'm working with my watercolors. I'm using the Mei Liang watercolor palette. At the moment, that's one of my favorite watercolor palettes. Yeah, and I'm just adding watercolor paint. I play intuitively, I play quite loose. I try to pick the same colors that I've used in that old painting. That's a pink flower and some greenish and yellowish leaves around it. I'm starting light. That's what I always remind myself to do. Start light with watercolors. You can always layer them up, and you need some light and dark values to make everything interesting. And I think this is one of my tips. Let some white peek through so you get some highlights. Start light and then add darker spots later to create a big tonal value range. Hold your pencil not towards the front. Hold it more towards the end like I do it, so you don't have that much control and you automatically paint loose and paint outside the lines. That doesn't matter. That makes everything quite interesting, I think. And one of the most things, you should have fun doing it. I learned during the past years that the most important thing about art is that you enjoy the process. Whatever process that might be, it's not for everyone painting loose. And the same is, it's not for everyone to paint some photorealistic paintings, and you should have fun doing it. It should not be hard work, I think. If it's hard work, it should be work you enjoy and you really like to do. And I think if you enjoy the process, the outcome usually is something unique and is something that comes from you. Yeah, I don't know. That's what I've learned and what I usually do every day. I always draw and sketch and I never mind what the results are, and usually I like what I do. If you enjoy my videos, you might want to have a look at my membership. I'm posting a video every other Saturday exclusively for members. At the moment, it's more focused on watercolor and mixed media. I'm always sharing what I'm up to, what I am enjoying at the moment, and I will link up the contents page in the video description. It's on my website, and you have a good overview of all the videos that are already up to watch. And it's over a year of videos, so it's quite a lot of content already. The green I'm using here is a mixture. I mixed an emerald kind of green with a kind of carmine red, I would say, to make it a bit more neutral and darker. That's also something I do just intuitively. I'm mixing my colors. I really like when they feel not that artificial, and I think with greens it's always a bit difficult. Often greens look not natural to me, and I'm just mixing in some complementaries to make them more muted. Yeah, and I used the olive green for the other leaves. You can see that here, and I also used the yellow ochre mixed with a little bit of the yellow on that flower. I'm not sure if that's the exact color names because I don't have the color names next to me. I just work with them as they are in my box. Maybe that's the reason why I use this palette a lot at the moment, because I'm very used to it and I know the colors, almost every color in there. It's the Mei Liang palette. I think I mentioned that before, and I'm going to link that up in the video description as well. It's now time to add a little bit of color to the background. I don't want to um, let that white be the only background. I think that's quite harsh. So I'm just using my paint water and I paint around the image. A lot of the paint is still wet and that bleeds into that paint water and just colors my background. I now let everything dry before I now come back in with more color, and that adds depth to the painting. Just after your first layer is dry, add a second layer, and I'm just adding some darker colors now to bring in more interest and contrast. And that's what I'm doing. I'm building up these watercolors step by step until I'm happy with the result. I will also link up my blog post in the video description so you can have a closer look at the photos of the finished painting. And as I said, the materials are also listed in the video description. Again, I let things dry and then I have a look again if it needs more darker spots, and I think it needs a little bit more darkness to just define the image a little bit more. To finish that painting up, I'm going to add some color splatters with the yellow ochre, and that's it. I think I call this painting done. I'm going to leave you with a photo of the finished painting. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope you will see us next time. Bye!